What happens when one of the richest men in Hollywood is accused of turning love into a dark transaction? No prenup, billions on the line, and shocking claims of secret deals, exploitation, and betrayal. Today, we dive into David Geffen's messy divorce, the lawsuit that could cost him millions, and why some say it was doomed from the very first night. David Geffen, music mogul, Hollywood legend, estimated net worth over $9 billion. And then there's Donovan Michaels, real name David Andrew Armstrong, a dancer and former model, more than 50 years Geffen's junior. They didn't meet at a charity gala or through Hollywood circles. Reports claim they met on seekingarrangements.com, a site known for connecting wealthy patrons with younger partners. On their very first night, Michaels says Geffen paid him $10,000 for sex. From there, it escalated fast. Soon, Michaels wasn't just a date. He was living in Geffen's world, paraded on yachts, red carpets, and private jets. Some called it love, others a carefully curated relationship. In March 2023, Geffen, then 80, married Michaels, who was 30 at the time. Shockingly, or perhaps tellingly, there was no prenup. In court filings, Michaels says Geffen promised him lifelong financial support. They would be life partners, share everything equally, not just love, but wealth, property, and power. To prove his commitment, Michaels says Geffen convinced him to leave behind modeling and build a life together. At the time, the lack of a prenup seemed like proof. This wasn't a transaction. This was real. Or was it? Fast forward less than 2 years. On May 16, 2025, Geffen filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The separation date? Back in February. Suddenly, the man who promised everything had Michaels evicted and cut off his financial support. Left with no income, Michaels filed a formal request for spousal support. And that wasn't all. What had once looked like a fairy tale now looked like a power play. On July 22nd, Michaels sued Geffen for breach of contract, both oral and implied. In the complaint, he paints a disturbing picture that Geffen used his trauma and background. Michaels had survived the foster care system as a social experiment, paraded him as a trophy to prove Geffen's philanthropy, while privately treating him as a sexual commodity. The lawsuit claims Michaels gave everything, his love, his youth, even his career, because he believed Geffen's promises of lifelong support. But when he dared to build his own identity, the mogul allegedly discarded him. It's the kind of story that sounds like it could be a movie, except it's real life. Geffen isn't staying silent. His lawyer, Patty Glaser, told TMZ there was no contract, expressed, written, oral, or implied, that has ever existed. We will be vigorously and righteously defending against this false, pathetic lawsuit. Geffen's legal team argues the relationship was consensual, ended naturally, and that Michaels isn't owed lifelong support. Yes, Geffen initially offered to pay spousal support and legal fees. But that's a far cry from funding someone's life indefinitely. So who's telling the truth? The lawsuit goes deeper. Michaels' team says Geffen weaponized his past trauma for public image, portraying himself as a benevolent billionaire, rescuing a marginalized young man. Privately, Michaels alleges it was about control and power. When Michaels no longer fit Geffen's narrative, he claims he was cast aside like a prop. Michaels is now asking the court to force Geffen to provide a home for him, cover his living expenses for life, and honor the alleged promise to share all assets equally. California law typically limits spousal support for short marriages. And remember, Geffen and Michaels were married less than 2 years. Yet because there was no prenup, Michaels may still claim half of Geffen's earnings during the marriage. Given Geffen's fortune, even that could be life-changing. For now, both have been ordered to disclose their finances, bank statements, income, assets. And while Geffen remains mostly silent, Michaels has turned to the courts and the media. Was this ever real love, or just a contract in disguise? Did a billionaire prey on a young man's vulnerability, or is this the ultimate opportunist's revenge? Behind every Hollywood love story, there's a story the cameras don't show. And as this battle unfolds, only one thing is certain: billionaires don't like to lose. What do you think? Was Michaels manipulated or playing the game? Tell us in the comments below. And subscribe to Lineage and Legacy for more Hollywood scandals and untold stories.